Okay.
All right, Teresa Manning is a teacher and she teaches. Do you want to tell a little bit about what grade you teach?
Sure. Let me flip the camera here. Okay. Hi. My name is Teresa Manning, and I teach first grade at a K-8 elementary school. I have 24 first graders, and we have a bilingual or Spanish population of over 90% at our school.
Wow. And let's see some of the things you set up in your classroom and explain why you set it up and how you use them.
Okay, so let me show you here. Kind of when you come in, the way that we have our classroom organized, we have some sensory balls over here for flexible seating that we have in different places that students can access if needed. And this right here is our calm down space. And it's larger than I would like. But right now we're waiting on a canopy to come in to sort of enclose that. The canopy is on back order. But I have so many students in my classroom that benefit from calm down space. I actually have found ways to use this for more than one student at a time, where they're not really interacting, but they're both in the calm down space. Over here, I just have some books set aside. Julie, you might recognize that one. But we have how to use the calm down corner. We have some different sensory objects that students can use when they're in the space, some books. And down here, these are the things that we've been pulling from. So, of course, you have the soft space down here to sit on and the different pillows and sizes. Um, we have the noise canceling headphones. In my classroom, we use a breathing ball. I model this every single day by
Wow.
having one of these on my desk. And then they have one to access as well. So when I feel tired or overwhelmed, or if I need to take a breath, I just start using my breathing ball. So kids, when they come over here, they do the same.
Mm.
Um, we have a kaleidoscope that kids can use when they're over here. Some different fidget sensory type objects that they can just kind of pull on. And I trade those out from time to time. I also have one of these, and I'm holding my phone, so I apologize for the video, but um, this, I don't know the name of this. I think it's called a flow ring, and students put it on their arm. And this is a favorite for my kids when they're feeling overwhelmed or they want to calm down. They put it on their arm and it just kind of moves with its flow, and they really like it.
Like a big
Um,
slinky. It's like a big
yeah,
slinky.
it
Wow.
is. I have some cards as well that we've practiced as a group so they know how to use them. So they can pull from this bag, and inside it has different cards that they can utilize on things that they can do or different ways to take breaths when they're feeling overwhelmed. Um, I also have this book that I got off of the Optimal Brain website. And you can see it's actually filled out right now. My student was feeling sad. They filled it out. They had some big feelings. Um, they actually came over and asked for a marker because I don't put markers in this space. So they were able to come and get one, fill that out, and leave it there. Our bunny, who is so well loved, he has a heat pad inside of him. And so I have some students when they are crying or feeling upset or not maybe feeling well, they'll come over and ask for the heated bunny. And I have a microwave in my classroom, so I'll just heat it up for a second, probably about 30 seconds, and give it to them. They'll sit here. My students know when they come over that we have a timer. It's right here, it's right next to the calm down space. And they'll flip the timer, it's 5 minutes. Um, I don't have expectation about that. If the timer is done and they still need to be in this space and they're utilizing it to really regulate themselves, they're not moved. If they are, they can just continue to flip it for as many times as they need. But most kids will flip it when 5 minutes is up. They take it upon themselves to hop up and move on. I have a second space, which is my library. Um, And I have a couple students who need a little more shelter. And like I said, the canopy hasn't arrived yet. So they will barricade themselves in here
Wow.
in space when they need quiet space. And those particular students barricade themselves in here. They're given the green light that that is their own space. Nobody else will join them in that space. And a couple other things that I have right here, I just added like a little water feature that goes all day. Some plants just to kind of bring a little bit of greenery in. And then if you listen, I have a noise machine that plays different sounds. Our classroom is nature focused. So this one is a nature sound. I have some aromatherapy that I light and use every day for my students. So it always has the lavender, the eucalyptus. And then within our classroom, a few other things that we try to do just for support. We have lights that gives us clues about our voice levels. So we have no voice, one voice, two voice, three voice, and four voice, and we talk about what that means. We also don't do behavior charts in our classroom, but I look for, and what I call them is I'm catching the fireflies in our class, and catching the fireflies is catching them being good. And these are what we call our little fireflies, and they're just little pom-poms. And when I catch someone being good, I ask them to come and put it in our jar. When our jar is filled up, we have some kind of reward. And that just keeps everybody on the positive, really catching them being good. I always have this on in the background. It's usually theme related.
Wow.
When I'm teaching, so right now the theme, obviously we're in the winter. So we're talking a lot about winter animals. While I'm teaching, I don't have the music playing. But when kids come in the morning, if you could see up here, most of my lights I've covered. So the fluorescent light is no longer, and it's throughout the classroom. I have almost all of them covered. And especially over the calm down area in the library, and my desk as well. And so when the kids come in, we always have the lights all the way down. The only lighting that we have is our big lamp over here by our calm down space. We have another, the TV will usually be on with music. And then the classroom lights that blink above my board. When kids come in, as you can see on my board, they have expectations of what the day will look like. I follow it with an arrow. And the number one thing that I've done this year that has made the most difference as a new teacher, I would recommend it. It was the biggest blessing to me, and I'll turn and look at you. Was that I shifted to Smart Start. And I heard the name somewhere. I didn't come up with the name. But what that entails for my classroom is when they come through the door, that time is for me to connect with every single child. So we don't put out toys. We don't have loud, engaging activities during that time. They come in, and I usually will have like 3 things out. Usually it's some kind of tactile, so it's Play-Doh, kinetic sand, something like that. The calming space is always open if needed in the morning. It's always open all day, but I always have kids that go there in the morning. The writing space is open, which my students always go to, and the library is open. I float. I make sure that I connect with every single student, and I make sure everyone feels regulated before we start our day. If we are not regulated, I then try to identify who isn't regulated and try to provide some opportunities to give them a little extra connection, or maybe they haven't had breakfast, send them to the cafeteria. If it's something that's going on at home, I usually will send them to the counselor at school. Or if they just need extra hugs, sometimes I offer they can come and sit by me. Those are kind of my check-ins in the morning. And then we start our day. As I've done that since October. Since I've done that, it used to be like 40 minutes before we could get regulated. It was hard. It was really hard. And I didn't know if we were ever going to be able to make this really continue because we weren't able to get done the things that we needed to get done in the day. But it was worth it because they can't do the things that they need to do unregulated, right? And so we continued, and now we're down to about 15-ish minutes every morning, and then they're ready. They're ready to roll.
Wow, Teresa. Wow. I just want to say that you are implementing so many trauma responsive strategies in your elementary school program. Relationships are number one, and you are connecting with every child individually, creating a safe space through you that's grounding throughout the day. Number two, you're creating an environment that is that third teacher, creating a sense of safety, safe places, safe objects, safe activities, to keep the nervous system inside the window of optimal regulation so they can actually access their cortex to listen and learn. And you've observed through all of these predictable routines and schedules and these environment strategies and relationship strategies, you've seen a reduction in the amount of time that it takes to transition, to get kids regulated, to move from task to task, to start the day, and even the reduction of dysregulated behaviors. I just want to thank you for elevating all that you're doing so other teachers around the country can say, wait, I can also do that. So thank you so much.
Of course. Yeah. No, it's so interesting because I had that knowledge when I started, but I was a brand new teacher, and I was just sort of, I was swimming. I was swimming and I was trying to make it every day. And then it dawned on me that I'm not connecting, and they're not connecting in the way that they need to feel like they're safe here.
Wow.
I have one student in particular, and he wouldn't look up. The first month of school, he wouldn't look up. And I called the counselors and I asked everyone to come please talk to him. And he was primarily Spanish speaking. And I was worried that he was scared because he didn't understand me. And that wasn't the case. But he was scared, but it was for different reasons. And I started to learn a little bit more about his home life. And so I made a personal decision that not just for him, but for all my kids, I was going to check in with him every single day, was going to make eye contact with him every day and smile at him every day. And he is my guy now who wants to eat lunch with me. He doesn't leave my side. He just gave me the biggest hug right before this call and before he ran out the door, and talks to me all the time. He raises his hand. And at the beginning of the year, he scored one of my lowest kids in math. And we just retested for our second semester, and he is officially on track.
Wow.
He wasn't
Wow.
low. He wasn't low. He was just not safe, and he didn't know if he could trust me, because most of the adults in his life are not trustworthy.
Trauma rewires our nervous system to be on high alert with an inner narrative that the world or people are not to be trusted. And as teachers, our primary responsibility is look at the whole child and build a one-on-one relational connection that will help them feel safe. Then their cortex will open to learn. So I just want to thank you so much for elevating your collective wisdom.
Thank you for listening. I was so excited to share a little bit about what we're doing here.